Hi guys, I've got Farhad and Alicia from TaxApp joining me for this episode. I'm really excited to have you guys here and to learn all about everything about your business, about yourselves. So for the listeners, you are actually partners in business and in love, let's say. So I really want to get into a little bit of that. So we are the Money Brew and we do talk about money and couples. I'd love to hear how you guys organise money in your business and personally, if you're happy to delve into that. But first, I'd really love to hear about your accounting firm. Alicia, did you want to tell us a bit?
So primarily, our accounting firm is called TaxApp,
Mm-hmm.
and the basis of it is to be a really technologically advanced accounting firm.
Mm-hmm.
So we want it to be in step with the startups and where the technology is going.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got two things that we do in under TaxApp's umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the traditional accounting firm where we meet people face to face. However, it still has a startup feel.
Mm-hmm.
And we can service all of Australia through a video call concept. And then another part that we've got is we've got a personalized app solution, and that is primarily for micro businesses and personal tax scenario. And that's where you can get a bunch of free bookkeeping stuff, mileage tracker, work from home logbook, and receipt upload functionalities for micro businesses, or
Yep.
even just if you're a personal if you just want to keep track of your personal finances, you can
Yeah.
just upload them there. So yeah, it's an accounting firm with a technology edge, I'd like
Yeah.
to call it.
I love that because when you think of accountants, traditional accountants, you think of offices full of paper and those big compactors, people storing all of their files. But I love that you're doing everything digitally because a lot of businesses now, especially startups, are technology driven. So they're going to be naturally drawn towards accountants or businesses that are technology driven just like them. So I really love that. So what made you decide to want to do that?
I think it was Fahad is quite a creative person in our relationship.
Yeah.
He's the creative mind, and I'm more of a I like the rules based approach, and
Yeah.
I can repeat stuff that I've done before.
Yeah.
So Fahad came up with the idea of having an app, and I was more in the side of having an accounting firm. And
Yeah.
then just like our marriage, we thought, how about combine the two? And then we have it.
I love it. I love it. So, Farhad, would you say that that's your differentiating factor? Is that what makes you guys different?
Okay, yes. So adding on to that, that is definitely our differentiating factor. But it's combined, as you said, Kylie, that there's a lot of paper in different accounting firms, and I wanted to create something new, something
Mm-hmm.
that has never been done before, and that's why I came with the idea of an app. And what I noticed was there's a lot of businesses that are in Excel and micro businesses that are uh, they don't have tools available when they're starting out, and they don't
Yeah.
they're trying to uh, gain some income, but the expenses are coming up and coming up. So I wanted to give them a free solution so they can start up
Mm-hmm.
with their accounting, bookkeeping, and all the things that they need. So that's how the app came into being. And with the accounting firm, we wanted to have a startup feel in the accounting firm. We wanted people to get attracted with technology driven accounting firms, something that you don't go to a local accountant down the road. They feel different. They feel that this accounting firm is gonna actually gonna reduce their cost through innovative technologies. And yeah, that's how we did it. And also another differentiating factor about our accounting firm is a lot of accountants, see them every quarter of the end of the year, and they're going to charge you a big bulk of fees. uh,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and the accounting firms are driven by 6-minute interval units. Every time you pick up a phone, accountant is talking to you, and also uh,
Yeah.
have a timesheet up there and recording the time that you're talking to them. And we thought that a lot of the times when you when you speak to accountant, when you really need them, you have this inside your head, oh, I'm going to call him and he's going to charge me. Is this even worth the call, and kind of thing. So we developed
Yes.
the total, like a monthly subscription model. What we do in our initial meeting is 1 hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. We talk to the
Hmm.
businesses, understand them, and let them know, fully understand their business, and we analyze how much need do they have for an accountant throughout the year, and based on that, create a
Hmm.
monthly subscription plan that includes everything: chatting with us, calling us, doing all their work. They can contact us through the app, or they can contact through any channels. They don't have to worry about anything about us charging them intervals thing, and that makes us different. And another thing that I wanted to mention is an example of a
Yeah.
game developer that came to us, and he came to us and he said, oh, the only thing I'm not happy about my accountant is the customer service, so that's why I googled
Ah.
you and I wanted a better customer service. And we said,
Yeah.
you're exactly the like you came to the exact place that you want to be, because technology driven clients, game developers, are something that really
Yeah.
benefit from TaxApp. And he came to us, and what we saw is that because accountants are lacking technology in their firms, they can't understand the technology of the clients' businesses. And
Yes,
and
exactly.
what happened with that was that he was developing games for big players in USA. So there was just a
Hmm.
company in Australia. All his contractors were overseas based, and he was doing all his work in US based. So what does that mean? You don't have to pay GST. So all over those
Ah.
years, his accountant was uh, like charging GST and lodging those basses, and we got
Oh,
uh, close to 50 grand back of GST. Yes,
wow.
and he said,
So what happens in that case? Were you able to
yes, yes.
rewind that? Were you able to get that
Right.
back? Okay.
So the good thing was he started his
Oof.
business just 1.5 years ago. So there was not too much work to do, but just having this technology and having knowing those facts book, because traditional
Yeah.
accountants are just looking at traditional occupations, and they know traditional things. They don't know stuff that is technology based and that can really benefit what TaxApp does. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that also highlights getting to know your client and the client getting to know who they're working with as well. So, I mean, that accountant really should have known that there was no GST to be charged on those things. And $50,000 for a startup is a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money for anybody, but specifically in the startup phase, because you need all the money you can get. You need, and that could have made a potential difference to the business, the cash flow back when it was starting. So, that's a massive win, I'd say, for the client. So he must have been like, worshipping the ground you walked on for getting that money back for him. So well done. That's awesome.
Hey,
So how do you guys use technology yourself? How do you leverage technology in the business yourself?
okay, so in our business, and in terms of accounting world, what we have seen in a lot of accounting firms is they're still paper based. There's a lot of work being done in accounting firms in their processes. That is, we call it waste. So the client
Hmm.
is being charged for those processes because the accounting firm, the traditional accounting firm, has not adopted technology that is reducing their
Hmm.
cost, that is reducing the client's bill, and that is making things faster to do. So, what we as TaxApp, and what our goal is, whenever a new technology comes up, whether it's being different types of apps or different type of connections between two apps that can save a lot of manual work, we adopt it, and we are doing it as you know, technology is being developed day by day, and new products are being developed, and whatever we see that can help our clients in their industry, we are we
Mm-hmm.
are looking into it, and we are trying to see if that will help our clients and our firm in reducing the time that we are taking to do the work, and also reducing
Mm-hmm.
our cost, which in turn reduces our clients' costs.
Yeah, well, reducing costs at the moment. I mean, the cost of living. I mean, everybody's struggling with that at the moment. So if something can get a little bit cheaper, then I'm all for it. So, who would you say is your target market then, given that it's an accounting firm with an app?
That's actually a really good question. And maybe I'll take that one. So, since we've got two different modes of communication with our clients, primarily we've got two different types of target markets. So, if you look at the app is a growing petri dish pretty much for micro businesses. We're providing free accounting
Mm-hmm.
services, for bookkeeping, profit and loss, and all these kind of extras to help support Australian businesses grow, develop, and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's primarily for micro businesses
Mm-hmm.
and simple individuals. So, for example, so that individuals can upload their receipts as they're going along rather than having a shoebox that they take to their accountants. And it's quite funny because I was talking to a few of my friends and they're like, oh, it's deductions time, but I don't even know what deductions I should be claiming because I haven't kept a record of them. Or
Mm.
yeah, exactly. So as you're spending in office works and things like that, you can literally just upload your receipts and off you go. You don't have to worry about it going forward. So app targets those kind of app has that kind of a target market.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love that because I mean, coming from a non-technical, I guess because of my age, you come from a non-technical where everything was paper-based. I mean, I started my career in stockbroking and it was like, physical certificates and script we had to write up in a big ledger. And going to technology, it's a little hard to grasp.
Mhm.
But I love now, yes, that I can just snap receipts on my phone or just send an email of an invoice and it goes straight in and it matches off and does everything. Yeah, I love technology and I love researching technology. So when you were talking about that, Farhad, saying that you will research the industry of your clients to see if there's something that I love researching apps and doing all that sort of thing. So that's what excites me a little bit. Considering we're a money business as well, it's technology I love.
Mm.
So how do
Yeah.
you actually aim to help? Sorry, Alicia.
I was just going to touch on the second target
Oh,
market
sorry,
because I talked
sure.
about yeah. So I talked about the app, and that's supposed to help individuals and micro businesses, and then the accounting firm that because of the face to face and more high touch approach,
Yeah.
that's where we service mostly high net worth individuals and businesses and business owners primarily. So that's where so we've got two different types of target markets. Almost you can think of it as a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
We help people develop and grow their businesses from the app and then transition them over to their accounting firm or more high touch approach. But that's not to say that people don't directly come to the accounting firm. So we've got a model for both type of targets. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. So when did you actually start the business? When did TaxApp? When was it born? When was the TaxApp baby born?
I reckon August.
So the tax app is just probably I would say 6 to 8 months old. The idea was there. Before that, I was running I was working full time and running a part time accounting firm. And then we thought that it should be a full time thing. And then the idea of app came along, and it took several months to develop the app, and also the app is constantly being developed. So
Yes.
it's not that this is it. There's more features coming in, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so probably 6 months. We have started the idea of tax app and working alongside it. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a newborn
it
business.
is.
So it's a baby. It's in its infancy. So where do you see technology in accounting evolving? Where do you see that going?
Oh, Alicia, you start on this, and then I'll. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll kick us off. So we think that generative AI is going to change the way accounting is done, right? And we can see how generative AI has changed the world of copywriting quite
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
So we want to be in step with technology, and we want to take technology in our stride. And as a technology accounting firm, we want to evolve how it is evolving. So when it is safe to do so, when it is the processes are more safer, and your information is not going to be given to any Joe blogs on the street,
Yeah.
um, that's when we will start looking into evolving with technology and including AI. But at this point in time, we do feel like we are one of the first accounting firms who is in step with technology. But I think a long way to go for technology, and we'll start walking with it.
And adding to that,
Yeah.
Kylie, I think like every, not just accounting firms, but every business should adopt technology, and that's why Tax App is born. So, if, for example, your business is still working on those manual processes and hasn't adopted automation yet, and after automation, the next step is AI. So if you think those people who are working with automation are looking into AI right now, but
Yes.
if your business is
Yes.
still in those manual work, uh, your competitors are ahead of you in terms of automation. Once they go to AI,
Yep.
you won't be able to compete. So it's not just for an accounting business. Every business who is working in those paper-based and highly manual processes should at least look into automation, uh, and then
Yeah.
the next step is AI. And what we have seen in technology, since I've just said that we have started operating like 6 months ago, but we have seen technology
Hmm.
evolve in that short period quite a lot. And it's a
Yeah.
minute by minute process, so everyone has to be, especially people in e-commerce and selling online, have to be in this space and have to research what Kylie and myself and Alicia love doing, the latest technology that is out there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a website that I go to. It's called AppSumo. So it has all releases on there. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but there's all different apps that people sell for discounted prices when they're launching on there. I love going on there and having a look and thinking, oh, do we really need this? So yeah, I do love that you're technology driven. In our business in Creo, we have an older base client, an older client base. So technology for them is a little bit difficult, which is proving interesting at the moment, given all of the, spam and, cybersecurity issues that are going on. So, and a lot of our clients still like paper. They still like us to actually physically post something. So whenever they ask that, it's like, oh, this is quite bizarre. I'm actually having to go to the post office and actually post an envelope with a stamp. I think the stamps are like $1.20 now. So I was like, wow, last time I posted something was like 55 cents or something. It's like cost of that has just gone up. So thank you for explaining about the business. I wanted to touch a little bit on your relationship and how working together, if that's affected that, and how you go about planning. So did you guys sit down and like have a business plan with the business? Were you both involved in that?
Yeah, so we do have some set times in which we talk about the business, and I think that's really helped us. And I
Yep.
think it's also quite helpful because we live to like we're partners for everything almost. So yeah, it doesn't it feels quite natural to have those conversations with each other.
Yep.
And in terms of a business plan, we sat down when we first launched full time. We sat down and had our goals, our marketing plan. We organized all of that. So yeah. So it doesn't. We actually really love working together.
That's good.
And also,
That's
there's
yeah.
like, if, for example, I started just by myself, the support that Alicia gave me is she's another type of brain and I'm another type of brain, and that's why opposite attract. And so I'm good
Yes.
at, like, creativity is one thing, but I like to go in there and code and do those transactions and accounting and all those kind of things. But Alicia is more like a marketing guru, and in terms of all the other things that the business requires, and being us having that what us together is a very powerful force, and that's why tax app is growing.
Yes.
And yeah, having those different two models, which came from through the business plan, and business plan is updated every dinner there's something an update to the business plan, because we're always talking about it, we're always thinking about it, kind of thing. Yeah.
That was my next question. Do you find that it kind of crosses over a little bit? Because I've been married to my husband for 25 years. We've been in business around 8 years together. And you're constantly finding that things are crossing over. So you'll be having dinner, or it's you'll be out on a date night or something, and it's like, oh, this happened and this happened. It's like when our children were little, we always talked about the children when we went on a date night. But now it's kind of like our business baby that we talk about on date night. Do you find that as well, that it crosses over?
uh,
Yeah, most definitely.
yes, yes.
And
So,
if you, oh, yeah, sorry.
so yeah, like it's always because we are partners. For example, if you're thinking of, oh, this house looks really nice, maybe we should go in and check it out, and then everything is related to the business and our personal lives, and everything is so interconnected that anytime we are looking, for example, travel, if we're booking a travel, we're thinking about the business, and we're thinking about how, so it's always comes up, it's always there. And even at family dinners, it's always being mentioned, so it's always going to be our first baby, I think.
Yeah. Well, but we call it our baby. It's our business baby, and it's the baby that, we're working for it to be our retirement plan. So is that where you see TaxApp going? Is that, you're kind of thinking that that's your retirement plan? Are you looking to grow the business further across Australia?
Yes, definitely. Because and this is why we set up the business. It's serving Australian people, but it will make it would be something that we will do it for until we retire, and we want to grow it with smooth, steadily in a nice, rather than growing it too quickly. Higher you go, higher you fall. We want to grow it in
Yeah.
a quality manner. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's our plan. And soon Alicia would come into the business full time as well. And hopefully we will hire our first employees as well. And that's how we're thinking of
That's
growing it. So we are quite very young organization right now. We're
yeah.
very,
Yeah, that's awesome.
very new to the business, which also attracts a lot of new businesses coming our way as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I remember when we hired our first employee. It's a very exciting time. And it wasn't until probably 3 or 4 years ago. It was actually during COVID, I think, that we hired our first employee. For me, I think we should have done it much earlier. But for Anthony, he's a little bit more conservative than me. And all he saw was cash flow. He said, cash flow. And it's like, well, that employee is going to help us with cash flow because they're going to take tasks off us that we can help use to grow. Then we'll have the time to grow the business. So I really look forward to hearing about when you employ your first, team member. It is a very exciting time. So sorry. In terms of that, going back to the personal. So do you guys sit down and have a personal budget? Do you plan all of that sort of stuff?
Oh,
You both
yes.
involved? Yes.
I'll take this. So and this will help you understand a little bit about us as well. So I'm more of a strategic thinker. I'm more of a I'm a powerhouse, whereas Fahad is quite calculated. So when
Mm-hmm.
we first were moving in together, Fahad brought out this really complex budget tracker, right?
Yep.
And whereas before, when I was living by myself, I was just, I had a rough idea of how much I wanted to spend and
Hmm.
that kind of a scenario.
Hmm.
And I would use my credit card a lot. Whereas now I've come from that to automated payments. Everything in my life is now automated in terms of transactions.
Hmm.
So money comes in, I don't even have to think about it. It will just like allocate automatically into each account. So we've got a very regimented budget now.
I love automation though, because it's like, remember, I'm not sure if you remember, but maybe your parents back in the day, if you got paid with cash, you'd put money in envelopes. And, one envelope
Yes,
would be for savings to take to the bank. One envelope would be for this bill or that bill that's coming up. And you'd have to actually go and, physically pay for it. So the automation, you can literally set that up like different envelopes. So it's, technology again in use.
exactly. I've actually think seen the envelope become more of a trend lately on TikTok. People
Yes.
are taking the cash out and putting it in envelopes these days. Yeah.
I think it's probably a novelty for the younger ones that haven't actually seen cash before. Maybe it's because
That's
everything's been on
probably
a card. It's like, oh, this is novel. Yeah. But well, my husband's Maltese. His parents are Maltese, and she would have all of her money under the mattress if you would let her have it.
okay.
That's safe there. That's their thinking. So, do you ever come across anybody that is kind of, very conservative and doesn't want to sort of do anything with their money? They just want to keep saving, like in the business. Have
Mm,
you had business owners that are very conservative and don't want to kind of grow? They don't want to
Yeah, they are.
take that leap.
They
Yep.
are like what I've seen is a lot of people do not like to keep the money inside the company. They want to withdraw, and there's
Ah.
some business owners that do not believe in superannuation. So they
Woo.
want to
Okay.
keep under the mattress, if you would like to call it. They don't want to leave it in the company. They want to keep it personally. So with that, the tax consequences if you're in a very high personal bracket. So
Hmm.
explaining to them, and some people learn and think, oh, this is tax savings. But some people say, I don't care about the consequences. I want all my money sitting with me, not in my company, not in my super. So there are some business owners that like that, yeah. But very very small percentage, very small percentage.
Yeah. Which is good because, we get a lot of people as well. Obviously, we're a financial planning company, but a lot of people seem to think that super, I'm not sure what they think of it, but a lot of people don't like that they have to put money into super. But I think that they don't understand that superannuation is actually a tax structure and there are tax benefits of using your superannuation to grow your wealth. It doesn't matter how old you are, even though you can't, if you're young, you might not think that it's worth putting money into your superannuation. But if you don't need access to that money, it's a good tax structure. Say if you wanted to salary sacrifice, for instance, to reduce your taxable income, there's some different strategies you can use. So, we're all about trying to educate people about their superannuation. And if you don't want to put money into super, think of something. What's your plan? What's your end plan? What's you can't keep working for the rest of your life. I mean, if you do, we need to talk. But there's a whole big wide world to see. There's things you want to do. You might have grandchildren. You might want to spend time with family or loved ones. You don't want to work forever. So what's the plan? How are you going to live when you're not working anymore? And it's really hard to get that through to some people. They're just living in the here and now. They're not thinking of the future. So what do you guys do? You guys plan for the future? Like, do you have like an end plan?
Yeah, so in terms of us personally, we do think about it quite often. Like, what kind of house do we want to live in, and how we're gonna finance it, and how we're gonna grow the business. And currently, because the business is so young, it's all jumbled across everything right now. So we are
Yeah.
trying to open up the knots and trying to make it much straighter kind of picture. And
Yep.
yeah, we do think about it a lot. In terms of our clients, Kylie, there's a thin line between financial planning and accounting. So
There is.
like when we're talking about super, we can only talk about saving tax. So uh,
Yes.
we do like have to accept what clients want to do it, and educate them
Yeah.
rather than advise them. So
Yeah, of
so
course.
so so yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I may also add that I was actually doing a bunch of research about how women end up having less super than men,
Yes.
only because of the fact they'll end up taking time off from the workplace, they'll
Yeah.
work part time
Part
over a
time.
period of
Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. And it's the discrepancy is quite a bit. So the other day, Father and I brought up, I looked at our super account and we're checking it against the average, and we were like, oh, okay, look, this is where we are at. Perhaps we need to start salary sacrificing a bit more so that we can, attain the kind of lifestyle that we would like to have towards the end. And it makes a huge difference. The more money you put on earlier on, the
Yes.
better it is towards the longer run.
Yes.
So, um, yeah, we definitely think about it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's good. And I like that you're talking about maybe putting more in now, because if you do want to have children, you need to plan for that, because you could potentially take however long it is you want to have off work. Yeah. So, I mean, I do know that my super is less than Anthony's because, yes, I did work part time, and, but luckily I've got a supportive husband, and, it's not that way for a lot of women. So, a lot of women, I think actually the figures are that there's more women, I think, around the age of 50, 55, that leave marriages and they have nothing and they become homeless. And I mean, that's an astounding figure, because women, we tend to just say, oh, just leave it alone. I'll just walk away so I don't have the problems anymore. So, yeah, it's quite alarming. So I love that you're thinking about that. So if you can plan ahead for any of that sort of, things coming up in the future, that is excellent. And it's obviously what we try and educate our clients on. And Fahad, you were talking about fine line between accounting and financial planning. And so we have the opposite way around. So we can't, tell people tax. We can tell factual information. We can give them the facts, like what the tax rates are, things like that. But yeah, when it comes to, deductions and all that sort of fancy stuff, it's like, yeah, go and see a good accountant, because we can't tell you any of that sort of thing. And there's also things for the self-managed super funds that you guys need to do that we can't do as well. So that's why. And I think that's how we actually met you guys. I think it was, Alicia, it was in some Facebook group or something. I think somebody mentioned, or was it you that mentioned you wanted to connect with some. So yeah, social media, technology again, there you go, making great relationships as well.
Exactly right. And I think we met a bunch of people through that.
Yeah.
Whereas I think we've really connected with Creo and you guys. So, with Creo Wealth as a brand name, and you guys specifically. So, thank you so much for taking up on the offer and connecting.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for coming onto the podcast today. It's been insightful. We'll have to get you on again, and we might get Sego next time, and you and Farhad, Sego and Farhad, can have a nice little chin wag about self-managed super funds. I'm not an advisor. I was years ago, but definitely not my expertise. I like talking to people about money, but when it comes to doing all the strategies, and I pass that over to the guys, that's their thing. I'm kind of like you, Alicia. I'm more the creative. I do all the marketing and all this fun stuff, getting to talk to everybody about money. So that's what I do.
Sounds fantastic. Sounds like my.
So thank you again for joining me. I'm going to have your links and everything in there if people want to contact you guys. And thanks so much for being amazing guests. And I'll talk to you guys again next time.
Thank you, Kylie, for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. Such a fantastic experience. And also, yeah, you're such a great speaker. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really sweet.